today it would be my pleasure to inform for you a selection from Fortunately the Milk by Lillian. It's breakfast time. Mother is gone, and my sister and I have discovered that we have a serious problem. No milk. I watched my dad think about this. He looked like he was going to suggest that we have something for breakfast that you do not need milk for, like sausages. But then he looked like he remembered that without milk, he couldn't have his coffee. You poor children. I walked down to the shop and get milk. And out he went. I poured some Tostios in a bowl. I stared at them and waited. How long has it been? Asked my sister. Ages and ages. What happens if he never comes back? I suppose we eat the pickles. You can't eat pickles for breakfast. And I don't even like pickles. What if something awful has happened to him? I expect he just ran into one of his friends and they got talking and he lost track of time. I ate a dry toast you as an experiment. It was sort of okay, but not as good as in milk. Then there was a thump and a bang at the front door and my father came in. Where have you been all this time? Asked my sister. Said my father. Well, guess, funny you should ask me that. Let me guess. You ran into someone you knew, and you lost track of time. I bought the milk, and I did indeed say a brief hello to Mr. Robinson, who was buying a paper. I walked out of the shop and heard an odd noise that seemed to be coming from above me. It sounded like this. Thum, thum. I looked up and saw a huge silver disc hovering in the air above Marshall Road. Hold on, I said to myself. That is not something you see every day. And then something odd happened. That wasn't odd, I asked. Well, something odder. The odd thing was, the beam of light that came out of the disc was even visible in the daylight. And the next thing I knew, I was being sucked up into the disc. Fortunately, I put the milk into my coat pocket. The deck of the disc was metal. It was as big as a football field, or bigger. We have come to your planet from a world very far away, said the people in the disc. I called them people, but they were a bit green and rather gloppy and looked very grumpy indeed. Now, as a representative of your species, we demand you give us ownership over the whole planet. We're going to remodel it. I jolly well won't. Then we will bring all your enemies here and have them make you miserable until you agree to sign the planet over to us. I was going to point out that I didn't have any enemies when I noticed a large metal door with emergency exit. Do not open for any reason. This means you. I opened the door. Don't do that, said a green lobby person. You'll let the space-time continuum in. But it was too late. I pushed open the door and jumped. I was falling. Fortunately, I kept tight hold of the milk, so when I splashed into the sea, I did not lose it. What was that? Said a woman's voice. A big fish? A mermaid? Or was it a spy? I wanted to say that I wasn't any of these things, but my mouth was full of seawater. I felt myself being hauled up onto the deck of a little ship where there were a number of men and a woman on board, and they all looked very cross. "Who be ye, landlubber?" asked the woman, who had a big hat on her head. "He's a spy, a walrus in a coat, a new kind of mermaid with legs," said the man. "What are you doing here?" "Well, I just set out to the shop to buy some milk for my children's breakfast and for my coffee, and the next thing I knew, he's lying, your majesty." She pulled out her cutlass. "You dare lie to the queen of the pirates." Fortunately, I'd kept tight hold of the milk and now pointed to it. If I did not go to the shop to buy milk, where did this milk come from? At this, the pirates were completely speechless. Now, if you wouldn't mind dropping me off somewhere near the corner of Fletcher Road and Marshall Lane, I would be much obliged to you. My children are waiting there for their breakfast. You're on a pirate ship now, my fine bucko, and you don't get dropped off anywhere. There are two choices. One, join my pirate crew. Or two, refuse to join, and we will slit your cowardly throats and toss you into the sea where you can feed the fishes. What about walking the plank? Never heard of it. Walking the plank. It's what proper pirates do. Here, I'll show you. Do you have a plank anywhere? It took some looking, but we found a plank, and I showed the pirates where to put it. We discussed nailing it down, but the pirate queen decided it would be safest just to have the two fattest pirates sit at the end of it. Why exactly do you want to walk the plank? I edged out onto the plank, blue water splashing gently beneath me. Well, I've seen lots of stories with pirates in them, and it seems to me that if I'm going to be rescued, at this, the pirates laughed so hard their stomachs wobbled. Rescue? There's no rescue out here. We're in the middle of the ocean. Nevertheless, if you're going to be rescued, it will always be while walking the plank, which we don't do. I edged out onto the end of the plank. Sharks were circling. So were piranhas. And this is where I interrupted my dad for the first time. Hang on. Piranhas are a freshwater fish. What are they doing in the middle of the ocean? You're right. The piranhas are later. Where were we? Right. So I was out on the end of the plank, facing certain doom, when a rope ladder hit my shoulder and a deep booming voice shouted, "Quickly,